Welcome back to another episode of When We're Not Hustling the After Party. Today we are talking about Maya Bates, longtime cam girl and clip producer who is now running a woman-only construction crew, which is so badass.
Oh, yeah.
So cool.
I'm Ashley Ramos. Oh, sorry. I'm Ashley
Yeah.
Ramos. It's Jessie's bestie and assistant, and I'm an artist. I'm happy to be here.
Nice.
I'm Emily Foster. Like, subscribe, follow us, do all that fun stuff. And also, Only Women Construction Company. Oh my God. Oh my
Amazing.
God. Like, and she's, I'm just going to jump right into it. She talked about her older women clients, and my mom lives alone. My mom's lived alone for a very long time. And she's a very savvy woman, but she's getting older, and she would rather have my husband and I fly from Pennsylvania to Hawaii, that to help her do stuff than to hire some random guy.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a random guy who might screw you over, and they definitely screw older women over the most, we've found. But it's also some guy who now knows that you live alone and is coming into your house.
Right.
And that's a big risk to take. And then you're sitting there with water pouring out of your wall, and you're like, well,
you need somebody to help you at that point.
Yeah. And
she talks about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, just that. I mean, and here goes Maya. She needs a cape.
Oh my God. Legitimately, she talked about if there was a job that they couldn't do for some reason, that they could even just oversee whoever else was doing to make sure that they weren't ripping the person off. I thought that was amazing.
And they would physically be there.
Right.
So they weren't ever alone with the client either.
Yeah.
She's
so
way
much
too far away from my mom, but I want to hire her.
I know. That's what I said. I think she should do she could totally do a national chain or something of this business model and totally make a lot of money.
Yeah. No, it's really, really smart. And the way she said that she got into it was exactly what you're talking about with your mom, which is that she was trying to remotely deal with her grandma's house and was like, I need a ring light in the entrance to see what they're saying to you, to be in these interactions, because what they're saying doesn't make sense. And I need to somehow negotiate this. And not to say that all construction people are shysters, but we know that women get taken advantage of when men think they don't know that they're hoarding the knowledge, and
the knowledge, how cars work, how houses work.
Yeah, the same thing with most things, women going to buy a car or something, and they assume women don't know anything about cars, and they're gonna give them a really bad deal, or that happens a lot in this world, unfortunately. The elderly population being one of the most vulnerable in this situation, but even young women, I don't know how to do construction. If I bought a house today by myself, I would need help, and I wouldn't know who to call. I might call PJ, but
handy, and does a lot of stuff. But that's really nice to be married to somebody who's handy, because I don't know. We know some other people where everyone in the house isn't handy, and they're like, well, we don't know what are we going to do now? Yeah.
We talk about this a lot. My husband and I are both handy. I was the oldest daughter of a single mom, and he was the oldest son, a dad and mom. And even with the complications of our relationships with our parents and everything, all of that, the way he was socialized included all of this information.
Yeah.
The way I was socialized, I had to beg for it. I had to beg for it. And even when I managed to get it out of people, and we grew up before internet, so for all the younger people, no, I could not Google it. I had to look up Chilton books, and I had to there was more involved. There was no bad YouTube channels yet. But even when I eked that information out, even when I managed to get it, it didn't matter to all of the mostly men who already had it just by the nature of the way I looked. I couldn't possibly be in that room.
Yes. And I have a story. Oh, go ahead. Keep going.
Please. Yeah. No. That's it. I'm just mad.
Oh my God. No, me too. I'm mad too. And I just got mad thinking about like this memory of when I first moved to the city and I got a job at Home Depot. And one of my responsibilities was just cutting blinds, like measuring for people and cutting them. And this dude like came up to me and I was like, I'll help you, because he's holding like all these blinds and he has these measurements. And I'm like, I can help you. He straight up told me, I don't think women do this job. Like, women can't do this job. And I was like, sir, I even said like, sir, it is literally just looking at a ruler and like cutting where the ruler is. You really think I can't do that? And he's like, no, I don't trust women to do this. And then like the manager was like right behind him and was like, did you really just say that? Like, and he like cut his blinds for him because otherwise the guy was like gonna throw a fit. But like a lot of people wouldn't say that out loud but think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. I was the one who fixed our car and we would walk into the car place. I would be holding, one time I was holding the water pump, Ford Torino, which had a 357 Cleveland in it, by the way, which was not a stock engine. Anyway, it was an amazing car. And I walk in with my water pump because it's the wrong size, because that's not the engine that goes in that car. So whatever, it was fine. And my husband is next to me and he's holding the baby. And he is, my other Jessie, has my little baby. And they are clearly doing that. And I am holding a water pump for a car. We are in a car parts place. And I'm at the desk and they are back here. And the man talked over me, trying to get his attention, and we were obnoxious young people. And he was like, you better talk to her. I don't know shit about cars. He was great. But it didn't matter. He got talked to. They're like, I don't even know how to talk to someone with tits. Oh my God. It's like, well, it happened. This is stupid.
It's so ridiculous. Oh my God.
I was at a conference. I was at a philosophy conference. And it was the same moment that you guys are talking about that I will never forget. We were at a big table. It was like a round table event, and the keynote speaker was talking and he was going over the history of philosophy. And then he starts talking about how Augustine talked about God's relationship to time. Well, I happened to write a master's thesis prior to this on God's relationship to time. Like, this is something I know about. I don't know anything about cars, but I know about God's relationship to time. So so we're at the
arguably more important.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Agreed. He says, I'm the only woman at the table. And he says, I can't remember where he said it, but St. Augustine was talking about God's relationship to time. And I said, it's in book 10 of the Confessions. And then he says again, I can't remember, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, book 10 of the Confessions. And then he says it again in a different way. I don't know why he keeps repeating that he doesn't know where it is, but he's like, oh yeah, and it's really interesting. And then the guy sitting next to me says, oh, that's in book 10 of the Confessions. Cause I just said it 4 fucking times. And then the keynote address guy stops and says, oh, you're right. It is. It's in book 10 of the Confessions. And I was like, am I invisible? Am I
oh my God.
Yeah. To some extent, apparently we fucking are.
Every woman has some sort of story like that.
Yeah. Which is just mind blowing. Just half of this world doesn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not actually at the table with you guys. You're all having your own conversation.
Yeah.
I don't count. Even when I have the answer. Fine. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No wonder you left academia.
No, it was awful. It was things like that all the time that you're like, how can
that is way worse. Because I'll tell you what, working in cars and in Napa Auto Parts, you can use some choice language that at least gets you heard. Which I don't think is really seen in academia in the same way.
Yeah, well, I was getting paid by the hour at Home Depot. I was getting paid by the hour at Home Depot, so I didn't give a shit.
I was also on a small island. I could threaten to tell their moms. Oh,
yeah, but I think that the thing that she's doing is like really great. If I was a single woman, I would hire an all women. Like I would go to them.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even a single woman, and I'd hire all women.
Yeah,
I just like them in my house better.
Yeah.
Like statistically, women are less likely to murder and rape and steal my crap. It's just kind of, you know. Now, granted, some of that is because they have just not been allowed in these spaces, and I'm sure once they are, we'll get those numbers back to where they should be. But still, I think they're going to come out in favor.
Yeah, she did mention like the man versus bear debate. Like, would you rather be in the woods with a man or a bear? And like, I just recently saw someone. She was like, "We're really late on the trend, but I'm going to ask my 94-year-old grandmother this question and see what she says." And her first question after she asked was like, "Why is the man there?" Like, why is the man even there? Like, she doesn't have anything to do with
what is he doing?
She's like,
he's probably stalking me, right?
Right, exactly. Like, why am I alone in the woods with a man in the first place? So, I mean, I think that speaks for itself when it comes to not just women, but like the older, like elderly population of women, and like why there's so many reasons why we would prefer hiring a woman over a man any day.
Yeah, and I don't want to belittle safety, but just being heard is kind of a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Well, I also would like to not be murdered, but being heard and respected is great.
That if Maya walked in, she would talk to us like we're stupid, which is what like a lot of
yeah. And you know what? I've seen a house built from the ground up. You can be stupid and do it. You can. It's not, I am in no way saying that construction workers are stupid, but I am saying you could be and still do the job effectively, at least in the entry level and middle level spaces. Like,
I have to say, I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of respect for tradespeople. Like, and I know you're not saying that you don't, but like,
no, not in any way. Let me be clear about that. Nothing but huge respect. Love it.
I think there's something really interesting that's happening right now, and I think it needs to happen, and I think it's important. I see this with my kids, with the Zoomers now, who are not going straight to four-year universities. Like we live in a very good school district that is intended to send everybody to four-year universities. Like that's why it exists. And my son and a lot of his friends are like, yeah, we're not doing that because the promises of like higher education are not what they used to be. And the debt take on is so high that like, it's just like, it used to be that it was always a good idea to go to college, and it's not always a good idea to go to college anymore. And it's just like, there's a lot of reasons why it doesn't make sense. And so listening to them talk, like a lot of them are going to trade school, and
that's so cool. I love that.
Like, because people put that down as if like those were not valuable jobs, and who's gonna fix the tax system? Like you need
every single one of those people with white collar degrees is going to need someone to make sure that the walls stay up and the lights stay on. And like,
I mean, as the daughter of a tradesperson who's a person who has worked in construction and also in the car world, I know that that's like so important. And it's funny because like my dad always tried to actually tell me that it's probably better to learn a trade than go to college because I think he was just like, nobody in my family had gone to college. So he was just like, that's not possible for you. But also that like, he was like, you can live an okay life and not go to college if you just like learn a skill, and that's okay too. And, because I just wanted to be like different than my parents for a long time, I think I did look down on tradespeople. I'm going to be so honest because I was young and the daughter of like an immigrant. And like, I wanted to there was this thing in me. It was like, I need to go to college. I need to like be better than my parents. But like my dad is you know, with all the things with my parents aside, he is living the life that he always wanted to live, which was he works and he does car stuff. I don't even know exactly it, but he bought a house. He has a 2-car garage and he mows his lawn every weekend. And that is literally like enough for him. And at this time in my life, I'm like, man, that sounds really nice.
Right.
Like, I just want to have a little house and like chill. You know what? Not chill,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what everybody should like be content with, just having like the space that they need, and like, you know what I mean? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I no longer need that.
I really wanted to be a plumber. I started doing my mom's plumbing because it broke and we needed to fix it. So I figured out how to fix it. And then I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, sorry, you know, I started looking into it, and it was sexism. I was born in 1975, and when I was looking into work, every time there was not a lot of welcoming arms there. But I still think about it sometimes. I think about the world I would have had as a plumber, because it is nice, straightforward work. I mean, it gets dirty and weird sometimes. So does raising kids. I mean, which everyone was happy to let me do, you know, but that there is something so transformative about the trades. Like, I do intellectual work and it's amazing and it fulfills me in a way, and creative work, they fulfill me in a way that I need. But also at the end of the day, when you have made something that didn't exist before and you can just point at a physical thing, what did you do today? I did that. There's something incredibly cool about that, you know?
I love that. And I like live vicariously through this woman on YouTube who, she's like this, I've been watching her for years. She bought these cottages like in all of this land, and she didn't know anything about fixing up things, but like her whole YouTube channel is just her like doing all of these house projects, and like you get to see her like learn and just like find out how to do stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like watching, like living vicariously through her. But I think it's cool how Maya talks about like just like watching like her contractors like doing things and like learning how to do the things and just acquiring the new skills as she goes along. And like clients that need different projects, like they'll just buy the equipment that they need and just like learn how to dig a hole like an auger. Like, I thought that was really funny.
That story was so good.
I know.
So cool.
I also loved what she said. I mean, this is good advice for a lot of sex workers, I think. Like, you know, I hate and I always fight against this, like, what are you going to do afterward? Because I'm like, this is my job and I don't have to like,
this is after.
Still hire me when I'm old too. I'm already halfway there. So whatever. But like, that being said, like, I do think that her talking about taking her, and she made me laugh, and she was like, I took my dirty and I bought, instead of buying more like lingerie or costumes or whatever, I bought tools so that I could have something else. There is like something to that, to be like, what are you going to do with like the resources that come from being like a sex worker? You could like live a bougie life, which is my tendency. Or or you know, you could reinvest that, invest that into something different that could like generate something new when you burn out of the sex work. And I think she's of like, let me keep this going long enough that I could start something new, use some of the revenue from that to start something new, and then transition. And I think that there's something really cool about that.
Yeah, she was talking about like passive income streams, and I was like, man, yeah, that's the way to go. And the thing is like she was also talking about being burnt out at some point, and she's like, you know, I only really like post this one video once a week and like do this on Snapchat or whatever. And when she was like talking about it, like that's not great. I'm like, what do you mean? You got to a point in your career where you could just like post one video a week and whatever, like it's actually great. That's a wonderful like balance and boundary for yourself, because Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I liked it a lot. I think, I don't think it's about having to do something else. I think it's about knowing if you would want to.
Yeah.
Like, I am not a sex worker, but I'm sex worker adjacent and have been most of my life. And like, there is, there are people who are like, this is it. I'm amazed I can get paid to do this. That's how I've always felt about getting paid to write. Like, what? You're going to pay me to do this? Oh, shit. I didn't know people were bad at this. Okay, cool. Like, but then there are people who are like, oh, no, I'm good at this, but this shit drives me insane. I would much rather be hammering, and Maya's like, oh, this is so boring. I just want to go make something. It's like, I think for her, that's perfect. Like, yeah.
I just
that
tried to
really stuck with me.
Yeah. I tried to re-enter sex work recently, like online sex work, and I was just like, I know I'm good at this, but I'm done. Like with all like Twitter. I'm not even like doing. Yeah, I was like, you know what? I know I'm good at this. I have these skills, but also I like want to go knit something. Like I don't want to do. Yeah.
Yes.
So the 2 days that popped back up as Luna Lose, people were like, my clients were like losing their minds. And I was like, she's already gone. You missed it. It's gone.
Sorry.
Bye. Like
it's a 2-day only thing.
Right. I'll come back every 4 years and then decide I don't want to do it again. Turn around.
Every 4 years, there's 48 hours. It's like a leap year. It's just.
Exactly. Sorry, guys. I'm too busy knitting and crocheting.
Yeah. So, what about Ashley?
What's Ashley doing?
There's going to be a website called whataboutashley.com. And we'll like talk about my 48-hour spurts into sex work.
Oh, it's great.
Anyway.
Well, I would hire Maya. And if I have a 17th life and decide to go into plumbing after all, I'll call her up.
Yeah.
It would be awesome. I love that she went into business with another woman in the industry. That's so great. Well, I hope that this becomes a phenomenon and there are other across the country women-owned construction companies because that is badass and much needed.
Agree.
Yes,
wholeheartedly.
I think it has to be a national chain. I want to see it in 5 years happen.
Maya, you need to.
Yes, my mom can still call us. So by the time that she really needs someone to show up, I need it to be in Hawaii.
All right. I'm Jessie Sage, and this is When We're Not Hustling, the after party. And this is the end of August. So we're not going to have Ashley with us next month, but we will have a fun friend of the show. But thank you so much for spending the month with us.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Emily Foster. I produce this. We have had Ashley Ramos with us, who is an incredible artist in Pittsburgh. If you have not checked out her stuff, please go to Instagram, look for Luna Luz. I think that's LUNA_LUZ. And like, love, subscribe, and buy all her art so she has to make more. And while you're at it, like and subscribe to Not Hustling Pod and follow us everywhere.
Awesome. And do you want to sign off?
Me? Oh, sorry. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm an artist. Yes, I'm on Instagram. You can find that in the description. And I have had a blast. So thank you, everyone, for watching. And I might see you again someday.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.